Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of the Still in Developmental podcast. My name is Austin Jones. I'm joined by my friend and co-host Xavier. And what this podcast is, it is just a sports podcast. You know, one in a million, whatever. If we blow up, we blow up. But we figured we always talk about sports, so why not make it into something and give it that chance? So now I'll turn it over to Xavier, let him put his little 2 cents in.
What's going on, everybody? Happy to be here. It's a beautiful day. We have playoff basketball today. I'm very, very excited. It's been a very long time coming. The bubble's working. We'll get into all that. I'm ready to get this started.
Speaking of the playoffs, the 3 topics that we're going to talk about in today's show is the NBA playoffs, which, as he noted, start today, I believe, 12:30 on ESPN with Denver and Utah. Let's see right here. I wrote it down in my notes. Yes, 12:30 on ESPN, Utah and Denver. We have Utah, Denver, Brooklyn, Toronto, Philadelphia, Boston, and Dallas, Los Angeles Clippers today. We will also be talking about the NBA Bubble Awards, which include MVP, Coach of the Seeding Games. I don't know why they called it Seeding Games instead of Coach of the Bubble. Whatever. Everybody's calling it Bubble, but they got to be professional seeding games. And then the first and second teams. And then we will close out the show by discussing what is going on in college football right now, or the lack of what's going on in college football right now.
The lack of leadership.
Yeah, that's an understatement. They're somehow made MLB's leadership look good, which we would talk about but I don't quite frankly know enough about baseball to even go there.
I don't know enough about baseball to speak on a topic.
Yeah,
Rob Manfred is not.
Yeah, that
man.
Man, Rob Manfred was like, "Well, if baseball's leadership doesn't step up, then we're not gonna have games. They've got to step up." It's like, dude, you run baseball. You have to step up. Anyway. I get sidetracked easily. Let's get into the playoffs. So, starting with the Eastern Conference, we have the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks playing the 8 seed Orlando Magic. My prediction, I have Milwaukee in 4. There's not really a whole lot to say here. Orlando is an incompetent team on the offensive side of the ball. that sounds harsh, but quite frankly, they just are. They are incompetent, and that's a nice way of putting it. Defensively, they're not a bad defensive team. It's just they lost Jonathan Isaac at the start of the bubble with a knee injury. And that was easily their best defender. So that's a huge blow for them. They just don't have an answer for Giannis, and that's not a knock on Orlando. Nobody in the league has an answer for this dude. Well, except James Harden on a post up, but we'll get there. They just don't have an answer for Giannis, and they're just not as good as Milwaukee. They're just not on the same tier. They're multiple tiers below.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Milwaukee, this is a 4-game sweep, pretty easy. I seen dudes on Twitter trolling, "Oh, Milwaukee's not ready. No, that's the wrong team.
Yeah.
We're going to get there in a second. Don't worry about it. Milwaukee's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
They'll cruise until the conference finals, and even then, they might cruise all the way to the finals. So, we'll see what happens. I got Milwaukee in 4. They're not going to break a sweat in this series at all.
So, speaking of not breaking a sweat, I know me and X, we have different opinions on this series. They're not largely indifferent, but the next one is 2 seed Toronto Raptors, who are 53-19, taking on 7 seed Brooklyn Nets, who are 35-37. I have Toronto winning in 4. This Toronto defense, if you watched them in the bubble, it's scary how good this defense is.
I agree.
Their ability to switch it creates nightmares for every team, and this was highlighted when they played the Lakers in the bubble and effectively shut LeBron and Anthony Davis down. They can switch. They have a team full of players that are, quite frankly, positionless. They can guard anywhere. You may say, "Oh, well, Kyle Lowry, he's a bona fide point guard." Go back and look at the game where they played Boston in the bubble. He was guarding Jason Tatum and doing a good job at it. Yeah. So they have a team full of positionless players that can just switch and do everything that they need to do to succeed. Nick Nurse in his second year has not skipped a beat without Kawhi Leonard. And on Brooklyn's side of thing, they don't have Spencer Dinwiddie, they don't have Kyrie, they don't have KD, they don't have DeAndre Jordan, they don't have Taurean Prince. This is a team full of G League players, journeymen, and Karis LeVert. That's it.
The homie Karis LeVert.
Yeah, Brooklyn next year will be fine. They'll have their star players back. They'll have an actual team, but this is just mashed together. It's just not going to work. The only concern for Toronto is they don't have that go-to scorer.
Yeah.
They became the first team since I think it may be the Buffalo Braves way back in the day to have 5 players average 15 or more points, which is cool. You play team ball, but let's be honest, the playoffs is star driven. Yeah. You need that dude you can put the ball in his hands and he's going to make a shot. And last year, they had that in Kawhi Leonard. They knew that no matter what, they needed a bucket, they could go down, give that ball to Kawhi, and he's going to hit that shot. This year, you would hope Pascal Siakam's that guy, but, he's kind of struggled in the bubble. And maybe struggle is not the right word since they do play such a team-oriented brand of basketball. But, I just have concerns if they have that dude, that go-to dude that can get them that bucket when they need it.
I feel you, man. Toronto's going to win this series. I think Brooklyn will steal a game, maybe 2. Brooklyn really impressed me, I think, last Thursday when they were playing the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers are not the Raptors, but it came down to the last shot, and he got a good look. People were trashing the jump shot, but he was on fire. I would have took the jump shot, too.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely.
It was open. He just missed it. It's a make-and-miss league. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens. Toronto wins, but watch out. I think Brooklyn gets them 1, maybe 2 if they're lucky.
See, and, I definitely get that, but like you said, Toronto's not Portland.
Yeah, they're not.
He tries to do that little step back on Toronto, and he's gonna find OG Anunoby and Fred VanVleet right in his face, and he's probably gonna get blocked.
That's another thing I want to say. I don't know if people are quote unquote sleeping on VanVleet. I don't think he gets enough respect. Dude is a bucket, and they need some scoring somewhere else. I think he's gonna be that guy taking that last 3-point shot if they need it. Because I don't see Lowry taking it, and I don't think, as much of a leader as Lowry is, I don't think he's gonna take it. And Pascal, as you said, he's been kind of struggling a little bit, and he's not a 3-point shooter anyways. So don't sleep on VanVleet. I expect him to make some huge shots in these playoffs.
Look, VanVleet, he's a bucket, but he still look like Drake. So I'm not concerned. Obviously I'm not concerned because if y'all don't know, X doesn't he just watches NBA. He doesn't have a team. Unfortunately, I'm an Atlanta Hawks fan. Notice how I said unfortunately. So none of this matters. None of this matters to my team. I'm sure one day we will have an episode where we sit down and talk about the Hawks and talk about that Luka trade, and I'll have a lot.
I'd love to.
I'll have a lot to say about that. But Toronto, I just think that defense will be too much for Karis LeVert because they're going to force the ball out of his hands, and I can't rely on Joe Harris to be a consistent second option. He was doing his thing against Toronto in that game, but I can't rely on him to be.
I was watching the game, and I was like, I didn't know Joe Harris was nice like that. I knew he was a bucket, but I didn't know it was like that. Dude was doing whatever he wanted. Shooting threes from the corner, splash. He's dropping to the bucket uncontested. I was like, nah, this ain't right. I was like, no offense to Joe Harris, but I didn't know he was nice like that.
Yeah, this man, I knew he had that 3-point shot, but, he's making contested layups at the rim. I didn't know he was doing it like that. But, I can't trust him to be a second option. Yeah. But, at the end of the day, Toronto's winning the series.
Yes, they are.
The next series is the 3 seed Boston. Wait, are they the 3 seed?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, 3 seed Boston Celtics, who are 48-24, facing the 6 seed Philadelphia 76ers, 43-30. I'm gonna be honest. I have Boston in 5.
Yeah.
And
Philly. Man.
I could easily see it being Boston in 4.
Yeah.
News came out that Ben Simmons, he's out for the playoffs. He had to get surgery on his knee. He's in Philadelphia recovering. Jason Tatum, here's the big thing for Boston right now. Everybody in Boston is getting hot at the right time.
Yes.
Kemba Walker, he had that knee injury before the season got paused in March, and that was still lingering when the bubble started. But he's got his feet back under him. He's got his minutes back. Gordon Hayward is looking the best he's looked since that horrific injury. His first game in Boston. I think he's averaging I want to say 17 or 18 points a game. Do they have him coming off the bench?
I think they do. Hold on, I can check.
I can't remember if they have him coming off the bench, but regardless, they've got him. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are both. I don't want to say they are elite two-way players yet, but in the bubble, certainly they have started to blossom into potential elite two-way players. And they're not just guards or. He just showed me the depth chart, and it's got Gordon Hayward listed as power forward, and I don't think that's disagree with ESPN on that one. He may start, but Tatum definitely plays the forward. Yeah. But, it's ESPN. What can you trust to get right? Brown and Tatum are both. What makes Boston so scary with Brown and Tatum is they're that guard-forward combo. Mm-hmm. You can put them out there, and they can get a bucket on anybody, and they can play on the floor. You can put him at the 2, you can put him at the 3. With Tatum, he starts at the 4. So they've got that two-way wing player, and really, each era of NBA is dominated by different positions. Like the late 90s, other than Jordan, of course, were dominated by big men. Came into the 2000s, dominated by shooting guards with Iverson and Wade and Bryant. And then you had the era of just pure small forwards with your LeBrons, Melos, KDs, and now you're getting to that era where you've got to be that combo guard forward. You see it in Simmons, you see it in Luka, you see it here with Tatum and Brown. They are both heating up at the same time, and that's really good for Boston. And on Philadelphia's side of things, Joel Embiid is coming off that ankle injury that he suffered in the bubble. I believe they were playing Phoenix. No, it was the game before they played Phoenix. I can't remember who they were playing, but Embiid got that ankle injury. He's back now, but that's still an ankle injury. That's going to be lingering. And while, don't get me wrong, Joel Embiid has been playing out of his mind in this bubble. If he wouldn't have got injured, he had a case for all bubble team.
If he'd stop trying to fight James Harden.
Yeah, he is trying to fight James Harden after he gets blocked. Which if James Harden blocked me, I probably want to fight too. I'm not even going to be mad at dude. If James Harden blocked me in the post, I'd probably be ready to throw hands too. Because at that point, you just know God's not on your side. Nothing's going right. Nothing's going right at this point. But Joel, he's, I think it seems like he was dropping 30 and 20 a game in the bubble.
As he should be.
Yeah.
As he should be. Don't get it twisted. Dude's not Shaq. He should be dropping Shaq-like numbers every night.
Yeah, because look, he's not Shaq, but there's nobody in the league that he's going up against that Shaq either. This is the weakest big man's been in a while. And weak as in weak in the interior post because the position's evolving.
Yeah.
But, I will say what has been good for Philadelphia is since Ben Simmons has been out, the team does seem to be playing better, which, that brings a lot of questions for Philadelphia's future. But they've put Embiid at the 5. I believe they're bringing Horford. I believe they're starting him now. That Simmons is out. They're starting him at the 4 now.
They are.
And Horford has seemingly had a resurgence because he sucked all year.
Yes, he did. He was bad.
They only signed him because he shut Embiid down in the playoffs last year, which is a horrible way to build your team. Yeah. But, what do I know? The key here for Philly is if Josh Richardson, before I slander their names, let me make something clear. I'm a Tennessee Volunteers fan. Josh Richardson and Tobias Harris both played basketball at the University of Tennessee. Love them. Love Tennessee. They suck. All right. Tobias Harris signed that huge extension. I don't have the numbers on it.
$180 million.
Yeah, he signed a max extension just to suck. And Josh Richardson, he came over in the Jimmy Butler trade from Miami.
Yeah.
And, on paper, there was a lot of hope for this team coming into the season. They had a starting 5 of Simmons, Richardson, Harris, Horford, and Embiid. And there was a lot of hope, they could push into contendership, be a top seed, and they just never got it together.
They never gelled. Because
I remember what was so weird in the regular season is when you looked at them playing at home, they had like the best home record in the league.
They go on the road and they just fall apart.
Yeah, they go on the road and they've got road records the likes of the Knicks and Hawks, who you don't want to be like. You know, that's not winning basketball.
No,
you know,
it's the farthest thing from it.
You know, to say they had team chemistry issues, I feel like that's an understatement. They never gelled.
Yeah, Boston's gonna win this in 5, like you said. My hot take of the day: it's time for them to split Simmons and Embiid.
Which one do you build around?
I'm stuck on that. I don't know because I feel like Embiid, like I said, he's that Shaq-like dude. But is he gonna give that to you every night? Because he's proven he can't. But Simmons, is he gonna shoot? He's got to learn how to shoot.
They've both got mentality issues.
Both of them do. But obviously they don't work well together because it's been how many years now and they haven't done anything.
Trust the process.
Yeah, which
I don't give up about the process.
The process, whatever. That was so stupid. But it is what it is. It's time for them to split up somehow, some way. However you want to do it. It's hard for me to build around Embiid. But it's hard for me. I don't know. I'll get back to you on that one. We'll talk about that next episode. Because if I had to pick right now, I would build around Simmons just because of the point guards in this league.
Yeah. I'm with you there. We can dive into this deeper later. But theoretically, if I were in charge of the 76ers in the front and they came in and they're like, you got to make changes. I'm doing 2 things. Firing Brett Brown.
Yep, he's got to go.
He sucks. All right, you have that much talent and you can't put it together. You have issues.
He's got to go.
Right, you know, give a guy like Nick Nurse or Coach Bud in Milwaukee or Greg Popovich this roster. They're winning 60 games. They're a 1 seed.
We won't talk about
they
Popovich.
got the better.
They were in that 8 seed or that 9 seed for a minute until it all just fell apart. They had no business being there at all.
And, I'm firing Brett Brown, and if they come to me and they're like, you've got to trade one of the big 2 because they're not working together, I would probably have to trade Joel because...
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm trading Joel, and I'm building just like Milwaukee. I'm letting Simmons drive and kick.
Yeah, because... While Simmons does have issues about not shooting, I feel like that, you can get him a sports therapist and, somebody, and for all y'all laughing, that is a real thing. I had a psychology teacher who does that. Get him a sports therapist, talk him through those issues, and get him to shoot.
Yes.
Embiid, those issues go so much deeper. Because quite frankly, he's a prima donna. He's more concerned about Hulu has live sports than he is about dropping 40. Because if he wanted to, he could go drop 40 and 20 every night. He just doesn't have the mentality.
He won't do it. And I don't understand. Let me have that size. I'm in the NBA dropping buckets.
I get it. Not everybody is going to have that Jordan, Kobe, killer mentality. But you got to show more than that. If I'm running to, you got to show more than that. You can't show me that, oh, when you piss me off, I can go drop 35 and 20.
Yeah.
Why should I have to piss you off to do that? You want to win basketball games, don't you?
Yeah. He's 6'11", 7 feet tall.
And and like you said, with the point guard in the league, it's not a big man league.
No, it's not.
Let's take most talented big man in the league, Anthony Davis. What's he ever done? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. He made the playoffs, I think, once in his career, and got bounced in the first round by Portland.
Yeah.
And and that's when it was him, Drew Holiday, Rondo, Boogie. I like that team, but they got bounced in the first.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Cousins didn't make the playoffs until he went and played with AD in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns, talented dude, absolutely talented. But what's Minnesota done with the cornerstone of him as their cornerstone piece? They had one playoff run with Jimmy Butler, and they fell to the 7th seed because Butler missed 8 games.
Yeah.
And they went from, I think, the 3 or 4 seed to the 7th seed.
Down, yeah.
And I don't know if it's a mentality issue or you just can't build around bigs in the league anymore. But
I think it's a little bit of both.
I think if you're going to build around a big, it's got to be a Giannis type big or a Ben Simmons type big. It can't be your traditional center. Because they don't have a place in the game anymore.
Don't get it twisted. Ben Simmons is a small forward playing point guard. But
I'd argue he's a power forward playing
honestly,
point guard.
But he's got the handles of a point guard.
He's 7 foot tall.
Yeah, there's a reason he went number 1. But I don't know, man. I don't know if it's as much as you can't build around bigs, as to where the point guard position is just so like the backcourt in this league is just so stacked.
Yeah.
That there's not much you can do. Because look, even now, if you breathe on one, they're calling a foul.
Yeah.
So that makes me mad because I'm a huge football guy. So I thrive on contact.
Oh,
but
trust. Hey, when the Rockets get brought up, we'll get.
We'll get to that.
He's got a lot to say about the Rockets.
But it's just I don't know. I don't think the way the league's going, you have to be able to do it all. And if you can't do it all, you gotta have shooters around you. Like Giannis is working on that three, he's hitting some, but he still has bona fide shooters around him.
Yeah.
So if you can't, nobody's guarding Giannis 1-on-1. But there's nothing you can. If he's driving to the hoop, there's nothing you can do.
But yeah, that's what to kind of get back on track. Boston, they're going to take it in 5. It wouldn't shock me if it goes 4. Yeah. I'm just thinking Embiid will explode for one game because Boston, their big men are Daniel Tice.
That's the one thing.
Cancer.
That's the one thing Boston's missing.
Yeah,
they need a bona fide, solidified starting center.
They should have tried to get on that trade for Clint Capella earlier in the season. That's what I would have done.
Mm-hmm. Boston gets them a solid 5. They're ready to roll now. They get them a solid 5. They're legitimate finals contenders next year.
But yeah, I think Embiid may steal one game against them, but I've got Boston in 5.
Yeah.
To round out the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs, you have the 4 seed Indiana Pacers, who are 45-28, taking on the 5 seed Miami Heat, who are 44-29. I'll be honest. For those of you that don't know, I am a sports journalist with Pro Sports Extra, and a couple of nights ago, I worked on a playoff predictions piece, and so using some of my notes from there, before I truly researched into the series, I had Miami taking it over Indiana in 6. T.J. Warren, he's got a tear in his foot that Nate McMillan was talking about. For those that don't think that injury is serious, that's the injury that ended Peyton Manning's career.
Yeah.
It's a serious injury, and it's a wonder he can even play basketball on it, because considering it feels like you're getting stabbed every time you walk.
Yeah.
So, obviously with that, he's cooling off. Jimmy Butler, he says this beef with T.J. Warren has cooled down. He's pissed off. He's motivated. Jimmy is that dude that... I'll go off on a side tangent. I'm tired of dudes saying that Jimmy Butler's a cancer. He's not a cancer. Every team he goes to wins.
Yeah, they do.
They say he's a cancer because he's abrasive and in your face in the locker room, but what were all the great leaders? What was Mike? What was Kobe?
Y'all watched The Last Dance.
Yeah, y'all watched The Last Dance.
Y'all watched it.
Y'all watched Jordan call that man a hoe.
Yeah.
Y'all saw that. Jimmy Butler, he will get in your face and he wins. Everywhere he goes, he wins. Chicago drug him to the playoffs. He left Chicago. Where are they now? Horrible. Garbage. Garbage. He went to Minnesota. Their only playoff berth since KG left?
Yeah.
And then Cat and Wiggins got pissed at him because Jimmy Butler slept with Wiggins or Cat's wife or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a Minnesota fan. I know he was getting jiggy with Cat's girl. He goes to Philly. They are Game 7. They are a.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it a fluke shot. I'm not going to disrespect Kawhi Leonard.
Speaking of that, hold on before you say that. Did you see that he's dropping a new shoe and it's called 4 Bounces?
Okay, all right. Them dudes at New Balance think they slick.
I'm gonna have to pick it up for the one time.
And them dudes at New Balance slick. Oh, we got this new shoe. It's called 4 Bounce. Okay. So, Kawhi hits the infamous 4 bounce shot, but if that shot doesn't fall, if it takes a 5th bounce and doesn't fall, they're in overtime with a chance to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. And quite frankly, if last year in the playoffs, if it would have been the Sixers and Bucks, I would have taken the Sixers.
Yeah.
Because last year Milwaukee didn't have it figured out, and that showed in the Toronto series when they just clogged the paint.
And they fed Giannis to the trees in the paint.
Yeah, they put Siakam, Ibaka, and Gasol in the paint, and nobody else stepped up. Yep. This year they've changed that a little bit with Bledsoe and Middleton. But I would have picked Philly to... Now, let's make it clear, Philly was not beating Golden State.
No.
But they probably would have beat Milwaukee and made the finals because Jimmy Butler was there. Mm-hmm. And then they trade him. They traded to Miami, who going into the season, personally, and I believe everybody on the national stage did not believe. Nobody was looking at this Miami team.
They weren't.
Nobody. They were like, okay, maybe a fringe 8 seed, but probably more of a 10, 11 seed with a lottery pick. Yeah. Which, if you looked at the roster, that was a fair assessment to make. Yeah. There wasn't a whole lot going on there.
They've grown, and Eric Spoelstra is a hell of a coach.
And then Jimmy Butler gets there, and Spoelstra does his thing, and next thing you know, you're looking at this team that you could argue is one of the deepest in the league. Because I was looking at it, you've got Kendrick Nunn in the starting lineup, you've got Butler, you've got Bam Adebayo, and then off the bench, you got
Hero coming in,
you've got Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, who are absolute snipers from the 3-point range. And that second unit is being ran by Goran Dragic, who was just Dragic was always a good player, but he was kind of just floating in Miami. And here comes Butler with Spoelstra, and he's had a complete resurgence. He's running that second unit to perfection and is one of the best backup guards in the league.
Yeah.
And they've got Dragic. I think Hero may start. I think he may start at the 2. I can't remember.
I can't remember if he does or not now, but either way, dude,
and they've got a
very, very bright future.
And they've got Robinson off the bench. They've got Kelly Olynyk and Derek Jones Jr. off the bench, and Bam Adebayo in the starting lineup, who has taken that jump to one of the better big. I'm not ready to crown him the best big man in the league yet, or put him in that conversation, but he's certainly
up there.
Yeah, he's certainly taken the steps to get there. He's definitely taking that step. So, with Miami's depth, Jimmy Butler motivated. I have, originally had Miami in 6. I'll probably lean Miami in 5 because when you look at this Indiana team, it's a wonder that they're in the spot they're in. Because, I've gotten in a bit of hot water with some friends because I'm a bona fide Indiana Pacers hater. And it's nothing that the Pacers did, and it's everything that the Indianapolis Colts did.
Yes, just a little background. We both live in Tennessee. We're both diehard Titans fans.
Yeah.
So we don't vibe. I don't vibe with anything Houston. I don't vibe with anything Indianapolis.
Yeah, and
I don't vibe with Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's too irrelevant to even mention. So, the Pacers, but I had a hate for Indiana before I even watched basketball just because the Colts would...
Watching Peyton Manning tear apart your defense for years will just do something to you.
And then, they switch from Peyton to Andrew Luck, and it doesn't skip a beat.
Dude, this is going to sound terrible. When he retired, I legitimately started jumping up and down in joy. Because I was at a high school... We were at a high school football game, and he retired. And I was like, really?
We may have a chance.
I had to check, and I was like, oh, he's really done? Dude, I started jumping up and down in the parking lot. No offense to Andrew Luck. He's a great guy. Yeah. I understand why he retired because he got beat to crap. Yeah. Because they didn't build the offensive line until it was too late.
Yeah.
And now they have one of the best offensive lines in the league with no quarterback.
Yeah.
But, they have Phillip Rivers, but we'll talk about NFL later.
They got 2 quarterbacks, and neither one's worth a lick. But, we'll get there eventually in an episode or 2. If you look at this Indiana team, they... sadly continue to prove me wrong and make me look like an idiot when it comes to them because I'm a hater. All right, I'm just I'm a hater. I don't want them to succeed. Yeah. just so I can be right, but they do. Victor Oladipo is back. T.J. Warren's doing his thing, and they traded for Malcolm Brogdon. I think it was like a sign and trade with Milwaukee in the offseason for Malcolm Brogdon. Who that was a good pickup, but their all-star forward center Domantas Sabonis is out of the bubble. He's done. He got hurt. And Jeremy Lamb's out.
Yeah.
So when you look at this team, the starting lineup is already getting a little thin as it is.
Yes, it is.
Because outside, Oladipo he had a really bad injury that he just came back from, and he's still trying to find his old form. Mm-hmm. And it's been a struggle for him. It's been hard for him to get that out there.
Which with that injury, you can't be mad at the guy.
Yeah. It's a hard injury to all injuries are hard to come back from. So he's just trying to figure that out. And then Brogdon and Warren are doing their thing, but there's just not much outside of that. They do have Miles Turner, who's one of the best defending big men in the league, but his offensive production is just dropped. And I get it because he's usually in a normal circumstance he is sharing the floor with Sabonis, and that's a weird fit. They got to do something there. But, there's just not enough depth. I don't think there's enough depth here. And this is, as much as I am a hater, this isn't hating on Indiana. I just don't think they can match up with Miami.
I don't think they can. This is one of my more interesting series. I've been back and forth on this one. I think Miami will win. I just can't decide whether it'll be a 6 or 7. I don't know if the Pacers have enough to take a 7. I used to have Oladipo still trying to find himself. They don't have much outside of that. Miami, I'm high on Miami next year. I am. I love Bam. I think he's going to do great things. He's already doing great things. Jimmy is back, ready to go. They have a great second unit, ready to go. Spoelstra doesn't get enough credit. He doesn't get enough credit down in Miami because ever since LeBron left, they've been like an afterthought. But doesn't get enough credit. I think Miami wins at 6 or 7, maybe 5. But I don't know. We're gonna see. If that's one of that and the Rockets Thunder series, I'm very excited for.
Man, if you think about it, if D Wade would have waited 1 year to retire, the whole Banana Boat crew would have made the playoffs this year.
Yeah, it would have.
Melo, LeBron, CP, and Wade all would have made the playoffs.
Which is crazy because they were talking about, Melo's washed. Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, man. Wade's sitting in the TNT booth, sick. Yeah, him and Vince Carter sitting there like, man, it could have been us. Well, Vince, it wasn't going to be you. You play for Atlanta. You wasn't made. They're so bad that if they did that second bubble in Chicago, I don't even think Atlanta would make that one. And that's coming from an Atlanta fan. I got a lot to say about Atlanta.
Yeah.
But I want to make myself hype for this. I'm like, yeah, Jimmy Butler, TJ Warren, like they finna get at it, and then
But even when they had the game a couple of days ago, and I checked,
it was nothing.
And I was like, oh, it's on League Pass. I can't afford League Pass. I'm a college student. And I was like, we get into beef, and we can't even get on national TV. And then it was just
on the record, I totally am a League Pass owner, and I pay my dues every year.
Yeah.
Off the record, I watched it on a stream because I too am a college student who does not have League Pass money. But I want to make myself hype for this, and I just can't. And maybe it's because Indiana plays a boring brand of basketball. Maybe because I hate Indiana. I cannot make myself hype for this. And looking at the two rosters, looking at the coaches, Nate McMillan did get an extension, which is rightfully deserved. He is a good coach. I just don't think he's as good as Spoelstra. I think Spoelstra is one of the more elite coaches in the league.
I agree.
I don't have a ranking system other than Popovich 1.
Yeah.
But I think he is one of the better coaches in the league, and I think Miami will make light work of it.
We're gonna see. I think it's one of my more teeter-totter series for me.
Yeah, and for the first round, it definitely is one of the more interesting because, you can say this about every year in the first round. There just aren't that many interesting series because that's just how it goes. Yeah. Especially with how weird this season is and which teams have a roster and which teams don't. There's not a whole lot to be excited for.
Especially in the East, they have to figure out a way to fix this balance somehow.
I think it's getting there.
It's getting there. We got the Blazers at the 8, but that's because their whole team was hurt all year, and we're going to get there eventually. But it's just the Blazers are not an 8 seed. But
because you got to think, like everybody coming into the season, like Philly was supposed to have it figured out.
Yeah, Philly's supposed to be championship contenders.
They did not.
It just didn't happen.
Brooklyn did not have KD, and they didn't have Kyrie for the majority of the season.
No,
Kyrie was trying to find the edge of the earth.
Yeah, Kyrie.
And then Miami took that step. Everybody was kind of hoping that the Knicks, Knicks fans were hoping they would land some free agencies or maybe get like a Zion. They did not.
Dude, the Knicks wanted Zion so bad.
They did not.
And I can't really blame them. And speaking of the Pelicans, Alvin Gentry.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Never.
But everybody, I know at least me, they were expecting Atlanta to take that jump to be able to push for an 8 or 7 seed, and that didn't happen. So I think the future in Washington, John Wall is out. So I think the balance is coming back. It's just it's going to take some more time to get there. All right, now it's time to jump into the West.
Let's get it, man.
This first series, it's the 1 seed Los Angeles Lakers, 52-19, taking on the 8 seed Portland Trailblazers, 35-49. I have a lot to say about this, and it is not going with the general consensus. But look, Portland is not beating Los Angeles. Portland is not making this a series. All right, the Lakers are taking this in 4. All right, and I know
they're not sweeping them.
Look, no, they're taking it in 4.
They're not sweeping them.
Look, everybody's like,
they'll win, but they're not sweeping them.
You know, Portland, like they've got the hot hand. They can push for the 8s, or they can, you know, this is not your normal 8 seed. Blah, blah. Which, all right, yeah, I get it. They had injuries all year. Melo's back to being Melo. Nurkic is back. CJ and Dame are doing their thing, except Damian Lillard is dog tired. This dude's averaging like 50 and 10 in his last 4.
But does it matter, though?
Did you see him at the end of the Memphis game?
Yeah, I did.
There's a reason why CJ had to take those shots with spinal. I broke my back. Spinal. Yeah. There's a reason CJ had to take those shots because Dame is hunched over at half court, not able to breathe because he's had to carry a whole city on his back. Damian Lillard is tired. The Dame time is out of time. All right, the clock has struck midnight. This is not your little NCAA Virginia getting beat in the first round. But this is not going to happen. You know, I get the Lakers have looked bad in the bubble. I'm not disputing that. They have looked awful. But they came out, they beat the Clippers the first game. They beat somebody the second game and secured that 1 seed. And, you know, I'm not saying that this is what they should be doing or not even that it is what they're doing. I could be wrong. It looks like they're cruising. It looks like they're cruising.
Which they've earned the right to do.
You know, they have that 1 seed tied up. They're cruising. And, you know, everybody's like, oh, LeBron does not look like LeBron. Yeah, he's in his 17th season. Why would he, you know, he knows he doesn't have a lot left in the tank. So why would you put any effort in seeding games that don't matter? Personally, I wouldn't have set him, but I would have played him for a quarter, maybe 2, and just pulled him, which is, you know, some games they did do that. Anthony Davis, you've seen in the bubble against the Clippers and against Utah what Anthony Davis can do. Of course, you have seen he has had some stinkers in the bubble, you know, some, you know, like 12-point performances, but Portland has no answer for Anthony Davis.
But who does? Nobody does.
Exactly. So Portland's not making it because, look, that's what... You know, oh, they've got Hassan Whiteside and Yusuf Nurkic. Anthony Davis, historically, if you look at every matchup he has with Nurkic, he craps on him. I think this year, they said against Portland, Davis was averaging like 35 and 17. The only big man that can keep up with can keep up with Anthony Davis is Zach Collins, except he likes to do this thing called fouling, and you're only allowed 6 of those, and he usually has 4 by halftime. So you know, there's nothing, and plus, look, whether y'all want to admit it or not, Davis and LeBron play in LA, they're getting the calls. They're getting the. They are not going to favor little old Zach Collins, backup 7th man in Portland over superstar Anthony Davis. Which, you know, however you feel about it or not, that's always been in the game. Stars get the calls. That is what it is.
Very, very true.
Portland, they've struggled. You know, you mentioned the Nets game earlier. They had no business being in a close game.
The Trailblazers do not play defense.
They don't. They have all the playoff seasons. I'm pretty sure they have by far the worst defense here.
Oh, it's not even close. In the bubble, it's not even close.
They can light up a scoreboard.
Yeah,
but they cannot defend, and you have to be able to defend in the playoffs. You know, I get it. The Lakers, you know, their guard play is testy to say the least. You know, they've got Dion, I overdosed on edible gummies on the plane waiters, and JR, I'm drunk off a bottle of Henny and don't know the score in the 2018 finals, Smith. But
that might be the funniest sports moment I've ever witnessed.
What nobody is talking about is Rondo is back in the bubble. You know, he's going to have to work through that injury, but he's back. And look, everybody knows playoff Rondo ain't regular season Rondo.
No, it's not. Rondo has always been one of my favorite players.
Yeah, playoff Rondo is a different kind of breed.
Yeah.
What the biggest thing here, because, all right, let's date back to the start of the regular season. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, KCP, he was garbage.
Garbage at the beginning of the year.
And the Staples Center peer pressured him and bullied him into playing better.
And now dude's a bucket.
And now he's a bucket. What LA fans are going to hope for, they better hope Danny Green's on Twitter. Because they need to bully Danny Green on Twitter, tell him to get his act. Like,
he hit a couple in these last couple of games, but he's still not himself.
You know, his number is, what number does he wear? Like 14?
Yeah.
And that's because he is shooting 1 of 14 every game.
Yeah.
that's what I saw. And I'm not saying this was the most politically correct joke.
Yeah.
But I saw a meme on Twitter. I'm on NBA Twitter, and somebody made a meme, and they've all got the social justice statements on the back of their jerseys, and Danny Green's is how many more, and somebody photoshopped to say how many more effing threes am I gonna miss? Because all this dude does is brick threes and not play defense.
They're not sweeping them. The Lakers are winning 5. I'm gonna give Trailblazers 1. I'm gonna give Dame Dollar 1. Just because I want to see it happen. Like I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm not gonna sit here and kiss his behind. I'm just not. He is a great player. He's not better than Jordan. He's a great player. I get it. Please jump all over my neck. I don't care. Do what you want. You can feel however you want to feel. It doesn't matter. The Lakers are gonna be in the West Conference Finals. It's gonna be between them and LA. And my goodness, and my
God, the UPS driver just hit a 3-point turn and blinded both of us. Jesus,
they're both gonna be in the Western Conference Finals. Avery Bradley not being there is gonna hurt them defensively. I could easily see it being a sweep. I'm gonna be nice and give Dame Dollar 1. I hope the Blazers give them all they can handle and tire the Lakers out. I really do.
Look,
like you said, nobody has an answer for AD. Nobody.
Yeah.
And they don't. Nurkic doesn't play defense.
Nobody on the team does.
Nobody plays defense, which makes no sense because
Lillard is the only one on that team that has an excuse not to play defense because he's gonna drop 80 points just for the game to be competitive.
When you're pulling up from the logo and just splash, I don't give a crap if you play. You have to play defense to win the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's just like football. You have to be able to play defense to stop somebody.
And because look, while I'm more of a LeBron fan than X is, but I call his flaws out. I'm not one of those. LeBron's the GOAT, man. I call his flaws out. There's a lot of flaws he has, but part of me wants the Lakers to sweep just so I don't have to sit here and listen to every sports media head in the world. It was LeBron's washed. It's Dame time. Lakers are done. If Portland comes out here and Dame drops 60 in the first game and they upset LA, it's gonna be horrible because Colin Coward, Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Everybody is gonna LeBron's done. He sucks. It's Dame time, and then it's gonna be in 5, and they're gonna look stupid.
It's a 7-game series.
I'll
say this. If Portland gets one, it's going to be the first game or it's going to be the third game.
It's going to have to be the first one. And they don't... Because this is the most time... Because the way the format is, there are no back-to-backs, but it's every other day. And this is the most rest that Dame has had, which, he played Saturday. So it wasn't that much... But he doesn't play till...
Almost had to play Sunday.
But he doesn't play till Tuesday. So this would be the most rest he's had in the bubble.
Yeah.
So, if they're going to get a game, it'll be the first game. And Dame will probably set, the NBA record for points in a playoff game.
The thing that bothers me is Dame's might drop 50 for him to even be in the game.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense because they were just in the West Conference Finals last year. Yes, they got swept, but still. They were still there.
Look, all right, I love Dame. Love him to death. He's one of my favorite players in the league, and there's not many more players in the league I would rather have in the clutch.
Yeah.
If you look at the Western Conference Finals last year, he disappeared.
Yeah, he did.
And if you look, that's what people have been looking at his playoff numbers. He kind of does disappear in the playoffs, which I get it because look at all the effort he's got to give to get there in the first place. I'm not saying Portland has built super contenders or anything.
Yeah.
But, there are a lot of times where Dame has got to average 30 a game just for Portland to be fighting for an 8 seed.
Yep, that's
or
very true.
In this case, he's got to average 50 a game for Portland to get the 8 seed.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm tired of everybody. Oh, Portland in 6. Portland in 5.
If Portland by some miracle wins, which is not going to happen,
I'd be the happiest man alive.
I'll be happy, and it'll be in 7 though.
Yeah.
It's not. I got the Lakers in 5. Just because I don't think Dame's going to get swept. But I could very well be wrong. We're going to find out though.
Look, with how my favorite players are and how both these teams are assembled, if it came down to a game 7. And J.R. Smith hit a go-ahead 3, and then Dame came down and hit a go-ahead 3, and then LeBron hit the go-ahead 3, and then Melo hit the game winner, I'd be happy. I love all 4 of those players.
Yeah.
But this isn't a Netflix coming of age teen movie.
Yeah.
This ain't Disney Plus. You know, they are in Disney. Don't get me wrong, but this ain't Magic Kingdom. You know, this ain't Magic Kingdom. This is reality.
Yeah.
Portland, there's a reason why they're an 8 seed, and there's a reason why the Lakers are a 1 seed. You know, there's a reason here. Personally, I don't have Portland winning a game, but if it will, it'll be the first one.
Yeah.
So moving on, 2 seed Los Angeles Clippers, 49-23, are facing the 7 seed Dallas Mavericks, who are 43-32.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Clippers taking this one in 5.
Yep, I agree.
Because, you know, I love Luka Doncic.
Luka. Yeah.
I love Luka. As a Hawks fan, I was so like, you can ask anybody that was in contact with me on draft night.
Dude.
I was nuclear that we traded him away for Trey. Oh, I was pissed. I still hate Hawks fans to this day for defending it. Oh, it's a win-win. Yeah, we got a 12-year-old that, sure, he drops 30 points a game, but he has the worst defending rating in the league by far. And it's like, oh, well, he's voted an all-star. Yeah, he shouldn't have been. It was the East. Who else are they going to put there? Kyrie in a full body cast? You know, I love Luka. Absolutely love Luka. I love the Dallas franchise. You know, they always find a way to be successful and win. Mm-hmm. You know, I love what Mark Cuban's done with that team. But they can't close games.
No, they can't. They have no closer whatsoever.
They have no closer. This showed in the bubble when they could not close that game against Dallas. Mm-hmm. They could not close the game against Phoenix. They couldn't close the game against the Clippers. And I believe it was the Nuggets was that 4th game that they could not. They lost 4 tightly contested games because they do not have a closer. Which doesn't make sense to me because they have. Yeah, Luka should be able to do that. Which Luka's not clutch. Oh, shut up.
And if not, Kristaps is 7'3".
Yeah,
just go get him.
You know, I think they're a year away from putting it all together. Because they have a really good cast built around this team.
Yes, they do.
Kristaps is coming back from that injury. Luka, you know, sure he's been a pro in Europe since he was like 16. Because, look, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, not the NBA. Luka could retire today and be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah. For
what he's done in the Euro League, which, contrary to popular belief, is not garbage. There are a lot of hoopers in that Euro League, and it's fundamentally better than the NBA. Yeah. Not overall better. I'm not saying that, but fundamentally it's better.
There's a lot better, fundamentally better than the NBA. But it's not as fun to watch.
You know, Dallas can't close, and when you're in the playoffs, you got to be able to close.
Yep.
Kawhi, I kind of touched on this earlier. Dude's a walking bucket in the playoffs.
Yep.
You know, he's one of the most clutch players in the league.
Yep.
And, you know, I'm not going to be Max Kellerman saying, oh, he's got more clutch moments than Kobe. Like, I'm not going that far.
Yeah.
But
R.I.P. Mamba.
Yeah.
And Mamba season, everybody on the helicopter.
So, you know, Kawhi, he's automatic in the playoffs, and Montrezl Harrell's back. That's the biggest thing. Montrezl Harrell and Lou Will and Pat Bev. The bench mob is back.
Yes, they are.
Which I think Pat Bev may start. But regardless, and look.
Oh, go ahead and get off your chest, because I'm finna go. When you get
I got 2 things I'm gonna get off my chest because I know where he's about to go.
Go ahead.
I'll get the one that's not related to where he wants to go first. Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams. First of all, how are they both 6th man of the year? One of y'all got to be 7th man. Yeah. Second, y'all are cheating the system, bro. Y'all are playing starter minutes. Y'all are averaging like 34 a game. Oh man, we're a 6th man. You play more than Kawhi does. Man, we a 6th man, bro. We off the bench. Shut up. Mm-hmm. And all right, second, I hate Patrick Beverly. All right,
that's my guy.
I cannot stand Patrick Beverly, man. All right, here's the biggest instance of what pisses me off about Patrick Beverly. He is sitting on the bench with his little Walmart brand medical mask because his little thigh hurts and he can't play against Portland. And Dame misses the 2 free throws, and he gonna act like he just won the World Series. What has Patrick Beverly ever done in this league? Nothing. Like Westbrook said, he's got y'all tricked, man. He don't play defense. He runs his mouth and he scraps. He plays like he's look. All right, our local hood basketball place is called Patterson. He's playing like he's at a pickup game at Patterson. All right, he does not play defense. Marcus Smart I can respect because he plays defense. Pat Bev don't play defense. He runs around, hard fouls people, and he's a chihuahua. All right, that's all. He's a chihuahua. That's all he does. Which I know we're gonna go. Everybody needs that one. Yeah, sure, whatever. But he's not on my team. All right, he's not on my team. The Clippers are not my team. I can't stand him. And if Dallas came out and swept the Clippers, I'd be the happiest man alive. Because I hate Clippers fans, and I hate Patrick Beverley.
I'm sure you would be.
I hate Patrick Beverley.
The Clippers are winning this series in 5.
Unfortunately.
I'm telling you right now, I think the Clippers are going to win this ship. That's my hot take. Well, it's not really a hot take. There's a lot of people that say that. I think the Clippers are going to win the ship. I think between Kawhi... If Paul George decides to show up or not, he
never does.
Decent in the bubble. I'll give him props. He's been pretty good in the bubble. We'll see what he does in the playoffs. We all know Kawhi's going to show up. They're so deep. They got 10 dudes that can absolutely ball. Coming off the bench, like you said, it's not fair. Lou Will and Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench, best pick and roll in the league. It's not fair.
They ain't bench players, man. They starters.
Lou Will straight. He don't play any defense, but he'll pull up and drop it right in you, like right on your noggin.
Yeah, except when he's at a strip club in Atlanta.
Yeah, hey, bro, them chicken wings was fire. Don't ever hate on chicken wings, but he should have done that. I'm messing around. There's no reason you leave to go get chicken wings, which he didn't. We all know why he went.
Nah, he was getting some legs and thighs.
He didn't go. He didn't go to get chicken wings, but that's contrary to the point.
You want to get some chicks? Not chicken.
The Clippers are going to win 5. If they sweep them, I wouldn't be shocked. I think that they're too deep. They got Doc Rivers. They're ready to go. They're my pick to win the title. We'll see what happens. When I first saw this matchup, I was concerned, and then I was like, well, Dallas doesn't close games. Dallas has all potential in the world. Luka's a bona fide all-star. He's going to be great. Isn't he almost averaging a triple-double?
I know in the bubble he averaged a 35-point triple-double.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
And he was close to the regular season.
Yeah, and Kristaps is coming back, and they got so many dudes. I wish they played Boban more. I love Boban.
I can't believe the Knicks traded Kristaps.
But we can have a whole separate episode on the New York Knicks.
Yeah, we'll have to, our next episode will have to be, non-bubble. We'll have to talk about everybody that's not in the bubble.
Not in the bubble. But I got the Clippers in 5. I think they're too deep. I'll be very upset if I don't get my Clippers-Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. I think a lot of people will be, but it's the NBA playoffs. Anything can happen. We'll see what happens.
No, I'm a hater. I want them to lose.
Clippers in 5. Wouldn't be shocked if it's in 4. We'll come back and see what happens.
Look, I do agree that the Clippers will win this series. I disagree that they're the title favorite, and it's not just because I'm a hater. Mm-hmm. They don't have team chemistry.
I disagree.
And it's not in the sense that it's like Philly where they can't put it together, where they've had time. The Lakers or the Clippers just haven't had the chance to try to put it together. I think they said their Big 7 or whatever only played 14 games together this year.
And when they played, they've only lost twice.
Yeah, but are they going to be able to play? Are they going to be able to stay healthy? And what's it going to look like when they get out there? And look, Paul George, he don't show up in the playoffs. He doesn't show up. They went to OKC, was there for 2 years, got bounced first round both years. Dame Time, bye. He's a perennial playoff choker, and I don't see why that. Maybe it'll change because it's the bubble this year or whatever. But I can't see it changing.
I can't disagree. That's all facts. Paul George's numbers do go down drastically in the bubble, but I don't think it'll matter as much because Kawhi's there. Yeah. I just don't. With Kawhi there, he's if they need a shot, he's taking a shot. Kawhi, I don't know what else you want me to say. Dude's got. He's got maybe the best fadeaway. Him and LeBron can compete for that fadeaway, and I'll give it to him. LeBron's been doing it for so damn long. They can compete for that fadeaway. They both have beautiful turnaround jumpers, but
because I can see the Clippers making the finals because they are way deeper than the Lakers. Outside of Davis and LeBron, the Lakers have nothing.
Yeah,
but if they meet Milwaukee in the playoffs, because. While the Clippers do have good defenders, they have good guard combo defenders.
If they meet Milwaukee in the playoffs, they're putting Kawhi on Giannis and they're putting PG on Middleton. and we'll see what happens
because
Beverly's going to run around with Bledsoe, and
Bledsoe will cook Patrick
whether y'all
Beverly.
believe he plays defense or not. I don't know.
Look,
I love Patrick Beverly because
you gonna make me post a picture where Patrick Beverly got cookout knees by James Harden on my timeline.
It's like you said, every team needs a guy like that. What's Draymond been these last couple of years?
Man, a defensive player of the year, all-pro defender.
He still runs his mouth and runs around, does he not?
Yeah, because he actually knows how to play.
Yep, we're going to see.
Pat Beverly dropped 30 points in the Game 7?
No,
Draymond has.
But everybody dogs Draymond, though. Oh, he can't score. What?
Yeah,
where we at?
Because he does everything else. Pat Bev doesn't do it. Like, look, Draymond does everything except score. Patrick Beverly does nothing. Patrick Beverly's a walking pair of Air Force Ones.
I'm not going to sit here and debate Patrick Beverly's basketball skills. I just think he's a blast to watch.
Look,
I just think he is. That's just my personal opinion.
Look, here's how. If y'all got me agreeing with Russell Westbrook, y'all know it's bad.
Yeah.
But
good old Russ.
Look, the difference between because last year, Kawhi and Toronto, they made Giannis look silly those last 4 games when they beat him in 6.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is they don't have those trees to drive Giannis into this time. Because Giannis is bigger than Montrez, he's bigger than Zubac. Mm-hmm. He will body them. You know, Kawhi will slow him down, but he won't stop him because Giannis is one of those players that you don't stop. Mm-hmm. And everybody knows that. And I think Giannis will get his way in the paint with them because Davis gets his way in the paint with the Clippers.
Yes, he does.
So I think if they were to meet, Milwaukee or even Toronto in the finals, I would pick Toronto or Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. What the Clippers would, if I'm the Clippers, I'm hoping that if we make the finals, I'm hoping we're playing Boston or Miami. I feel like that'd be the easiest matchup. I do not want any bit of Toronto or Milwaukee.
It'd be the easiest matchup for sure.
But, you know, there's no point in talking about the finals because the first round hasn't even started yet.
Yes, that's fair.
So,
we could come back and, Dallas could have won and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Perhaps the most boring first round matchup.
I would agree. I saw this and I was like, really?
You got the 3 seed Denver Nuggets who are 46 and 27, taking on the 6 seed Utah Jazz who are 44 and 28. I got Denver in 5. This could be Denver in 4 for me. Look, I love Denver. I love the team they have. Utah is. Oh my God, dude, they are a chore to watch.
Utah,
they're on the as far as bubble teams, they're on the level of the Wizards when it comes to watch, or they're just hard to watch because Bogdanovich. So they signed Bogdanovich in the offseason, and he was doing his thing for him, and then he gets hurt, and he's not in the bubble, and outside of Donovan Mitchell, who look. I'm going to be real with y'all. Donovan Mitchell's overrated. We can get into that later.
Yeah, we can have a conversation.
He's overrated in my opinion. He is a streaky volume scorer who is inefficient, and it's a disgrace that he is compared to D Wade because he does not nearly have the two-way capability of D Wade. Mm-hmm. But, when Mitchell gets hot, he gets hot. I'll give him that. But outside of that, what does Utah have? Because Mike Conley is out at least the first 2, likely 3 games.
Congratulations to him, though.
Yes, congratulations, Mike Conley. Grit and grind legend in Memphis. Even I may personally have my reservations about Memphis.
I grew up watching them, so just living here.
Shout out to Mike Conley. He's having his kid. He's left the bubble, but he's missing at least 2, and they're saying it's likely at least 3 games at the most.
Miss 3 or 4.
And even then, he wasn't exactly. He was getting it together in the bubble, but he still wasn't lighting it up.
Yeah.
And outside of that, I mean, Jordan Clarkson, and I'm a Jordan Clarkson fan until he made himself look like Michael Beasley. But he'll have one good game in every 6 or 7 that he plays. Mm-hmm. In the playoffs, you have to be on fire every game because you only got 7.
Yeah.
Or in this case, 4. Another issue with Utah, that team chemistry is shot. I don't
It's
care.
done.
I don't care what they say. I don't care if they come out and be like, "Oh, we're fine for."
It's
no,
so done.
Gobert and Mitchell already had issues pre-coronavirus.
Yes, they did.
Because Gobert's mad that he doesn't get his shots, even though all he can do is dunk the ball. But
Yep.
you know, let me stop.
Then Gobert just.
And then Gobert was
we all
like,
saw. What was it? Was it in April or?
it was March.
It was March. Because I remember
It was the week. It was the week before they canceled the season.
Because I was sitting in my living room and I'm watching the East Coast game of the night. Because we live in Tennessee, so it's Central Time, so it starts at 6, and all you hear is season's canceled.
Yeah.
And all you see is this video of Rudy Gobert touching all these microphones.
Yeah.
Oh, Rudy Gobert test positive, and I'm like,
Bro, all you see is I'm sitting here watching ESPN because it was
Wednesday night.
It was a Wednesday, so it was on ESPN. All you see is they cut to Sports Center. Woj is like in nervous sweats, and all you see is like 3 dudes. They cut the video over because Utah was playing in OKC, or OKC may have been playing in Utah. OKC was playing in Utah, and all you see is they cut to that footage, and here comes these 3 dudes just barreling it down because they had reported that Gobert was feeling sick, but everybody's like, oh, because at that point nobody knew what coronavirus was. Like we knew it was over there, but it wasn't here yet.
It had been around,
so we were like, okay, like he's probably just not feeling well. And here comes these 3 dudes hitting their Usain Bolt onto the court, and next thing you know, they're like screaming everybody out of there. Like everybody's running back to their locker rooms, and Adam Silver comes out. I was like, the league's done, and we're like,
I was like,
what?
What?
Done? I got 2 months of school left. What do you mean done?
Yeah.
And then I remember because I flipped over to the Hawks game where we were in overtime with the Knicks.
Y'all had a try. That was a good game.
And they put Vince Carter. I'm pretty sure we lost the game.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, we'll put Vince Carter in, and then he hits
that 3.
Yeah, he hits a 3. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna go retire now. I'm gonna go to TNT.
Well, shout out Vince Carter.
But Gobert sitting there playing patty cake with the mics.
Yeah.
And then gets coronavirus, and everybody's like, okay,
well.
I think I saw the Stephen A. Smith burner account on Twitter.
Yeah.
He said it may have been the EDP 445 burner account. It was like, how did the French Roy Hibbert just cancel the league? But then everything kind of calms down, or not calms down, but it was canceled, and it's like this player's getting it, and all you see is Donovan Mitchell has tested positive for corona.
And I texted you, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell got on social media and he cut a promo. He said, let me tell you something about Rudy Gobert.
I was like, well.
And then like 3 months pass and they don't talk.
Yeah.
Like they do not talk. And then
at all.
And then like June comes out and Gobert was like, yeah, we've talked. And Mitchell's like, man, yeah, I guess we talked. I guess. Like, this team chemistry is done. This offseason, they're going to have to move one of them.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
This team, they just don't have a whole lot. Honestly, I don't know how they're a 5 seed. I don't know what they, it doesn't make any sense.
Are they the 5 seed or are they the 6 seed?
Or the 6 seed.
I was going to say,
they're the 6 seed, yeah.
Even
though, 4, 5, and 6 all got the same record.
Look, I'm not going to lie. I live in Middle Tennessee. I have to get up early for work. I don't get to catch a lot of Denver and Utah games starting at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't.
Well, I mean, personally, I'm an insomniac, so I catch Denver games, but I'm not going on my way to watch a Utah game.
Denver,
They don't even have cool jerseys anymore.
Nah.
It'd be different if they had like
those jerseys with Melo fire.
Or even if they had them 90 joint, I meant the Jazz.
Oh, no, they got to change those.
When they had them purple joints back in the 90s, man, I'd go on my way to watch those, but y'all just got them like fire department jerseys on, which no disrespect to the fire department, but when you look at Denver, this team is ridiculously deep. They've got Gary Harris, they've got Torrey Craig, they've got somebody else Will Barton. Yeah. They just got Jamal Murray back. Jokic is doing his thing.
Dude,
best center in the league. I'll put it out there. Best center in the league.
He's the best center in the league. He shouldn't be able to pass like that.
He shouldn't be able to.
It's not fair when you sit there and he threw one the other night and he just takes it like a baseball and just tosses it right in between 2 defenders, and I'm like, You're a center.
Yeah, like it
doesn't make any sense. Shout out to him though. He's phenomenal skill set. I love when I get the chance to watch him. I love watching him.
And while Bobo's been the talk of Twitter, you go on Twitter, you think Bobo is a superstar out here. The real dude that's been breaking out in Denver is Michael Porter Jr.
Yes.
Which, look, everybody knew he was that dude. It's just he had that back injury. And, he got weird beliefs. Like, I think he may be an anti-vaxxer, but that's neither here nor there. He's just kind of a weird dude, but he's a hooper nonetheless. Yeah. This dude is breaking out. He's looked better than Jamal Murray. He's looked like he's competing with Jokic for the number one spot on that team.
I saw something on Twitter the other day that said MJP's the best player on that team, but they don't want to talk about it. And I was like, it's between him and the Joker. I got to give it to the Joker right now.
I'd keep it Jokic, but it's definitely a conversation.
Yeah.
And, Denver, extremely deep team. Mike Malone's doing his thing. They were they were the 2 seed.
They were a 2 seed for a while.
Or were they though? No, they were the 2 seed. I can't remember if they were the 1 seed at one point, and then post All-Star break, Golden State took the 1 seed back. Because I remember that video came out of Golden State's coaching staff celebrating that they were the 2 seed at the All-Star break, so they didn't have to coach the All-Star game. Yeah. Which I can't blame them. I wouldn't want to either. Especially if I'm Steve Kerr and the Warriors, I'm not worried about an All-Star break. But I got Denver in 5, possibly 4. This is gonna unfortunately, this is the game that starts everything off because this is probably going to be a boring game to say the least.
I'll be at work, so I'll catch the highlights.
The France man Rudy Gobert, he's sure, dude, whatever. Do you against Jokic? With the way Jokic plays, Rudy Gobert's post defense means nothing because Jokic doesn't score at the rim. So
Jokic is.
And then what I think is the most...
Can we get to the feature matchup?
This is the most interesting first-round matchup. You have the 4 seed Houston Rockets... Wait.
Yes, they're the 4 seed.
Yeah, 4 seed Houston Rockets, 44-28, taking on the 5 seed, 44-28. Oklahoma City Thunder, who nobody thought were going to be here.
Nobody gave them a chance. Shout out CP3
except and the crew. Me, because CP3 is my dude. That's my favorite point guard in the league.
Shout out CP3 and the crew. I'll go first. Here we go.
This is about to be real hater talk right here.
This is going to be some real hater talk. I can't stand James Harden. All that said, I've been back and forth on this series. I want to pick the Thunder in 7 so bad. So bad. I got Rockets in 7. I think it'll go 7.
Oh, sorry. I just saw something on Twitter that, how it'll tell you Twitter for iPhone. This dude's is Twitter for COVID test kit. And I have a lot of questions that we don't have time to answer. So we'll get back to basketball.
I don't know who to pick. I want the Thunder to win, personally, because I can't stand Houston, and I don't like James Harden at all. As a basketball player, I'm sure he's a great guy. But
I'm sure all the dudes in the league are great dudes.
I can't stand James Harden. I don't know. Screw it. Thunder is 7.
That I have OKC in 7
Thunder
because
is 7.
If you look at the OKC team, there's a reason why they're here.
Yep.
They've got depth, and they are the only team with, I believe, 3 players in the top 20 of clutch points this year. Danilo Gallinari, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Chris Paul are
Shout out to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man. That dude's been flying under the radar for a long time. He's finally getting his just due. Yeah. I'm happy for him.
Because, look, I'll be honest. I believe he was in the 2018 draft.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
And I'll be honest, I'd take him over Trae Young. That's a hot take. We'll get into my hatred for the Hawks.
Ice Trae? You ain't rocking with Ice Trae?
I could score on Ice Trae. And let's make that. I'm not some. It's not like I'm some kind of D1 prospect here. I'm a fat white dude. And I could get a bucket on Trae Young. Probably exaggerating, but with OKC, pulled up the article that I wrote. This is the definition of what you want playoff basketball.
Yes, it is.
The storyline writes itself.
Yes,
CP3 goes to Houston. him and Harden have issues. You know, I'm sure everybody's seen the video where CP3 tries to give him the fist bump and Harden slaps his hand, which I would have to swing, but that's just me. Paul, it has somehow taken like 8 different stories in the NBA and put them together because you go over to Portland and Dame sent OKC home last year.
Yep.
So they trade Paul George to the Clippers. They trade Westbrook for CP3 and like 30,000 picks to OKC. Ridiculous. Everybody's like, oh, Westbrook and Harden, they finna tear it up. Westbrook better than Chris Paul. And Chris Paul said, hold my milk. I got an Allstate commercial.
Yeah. Let me say this right now. I've watched TNT so much over these last couple of weeks. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing the State Farm commercial. Dude, that's neither here nor there.
Dude, look, I get it. He's not the real Chris Paul. I get it. I promise you. I get it. He's not the real Chris Paul. I get it.
I'm not hating on State Farm at all. I don't.
I get it.
I get it.
He's not the real Chris Paul. It's a commercial,
but I understand. I'm tired of seeing it. That's just my complaint for the day. I'm sorry.
Probably the biggest storyline going into this series is Westbrook is going to miss some games.
Yeah.
You know, they've already confirmed he's out for game 1, and they said a few, which I would lead to believe is 3 or 4. This team, they need Russell Westbrook.
Yes, they do.
Which I never thought I'd say that, but they need Russell Westbrook because of how they play. So I did, early on in the bubble, I did a bubble dive on the Rockets and kind of looked at what they were doing, what their defense was doing, and the way Westbrook... Look, Westbrook leads this offense.
Yes, he does.
Not Harden. Westbrook leads the offense. And now that Westbrook has committed to taking mid-range shots instead of three-pointers, they look that much better.
That's where Russ is at. Russ is a slasher. Yeah. Don't get it twisted. Like, you know you're playing on 2K, you can make a slasher. That's Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, because Houston, you know, everybody clowns them for trading away Clint Capella and having PJ Tucker at the 5. It works.
Yep.
Because it's not a big man league, and the versatility of defense they have on that team can and does shut down opponents. They win, like, they do 3 things. They win the free throw battle, they win the turnover battle, and they win the field goal percentage.
I'll say this. All hatred in me aside for the Houston Rockets and the player that is James Harden and his crybaby self. It was working. The bowl came back and we were talking about it. If they're healthy, they are a dangerous team. They have to make shots, though. They've got to make their three-pointers.
Because, look, as much as everybody clowns Harden for his lack of defense, I knew we were recording this, and I saw this graphic about James Harden, and I saved it so I could reference it. James Harden, he is first in steals, second in blocks among guards, fourth in contested shots among guards, fewest points allowed per post-up, and first in post-ups defended per game. So, the dude plays defense. As much, you know, everybody loves to pull them clips from 2014, 2015, where, you know, he's sitting there playing with his beard and letting dudes run by him. He plays defense.
He does.
And the Rockets play defense.
Yes, they do.
But with that said, Houston always does this.
They choke every year.
We
talk about it every year.
They show up and show out in the regular season. They play this incredible style of offense, the Mike D'Antoni 7 seconds or less small ball lineup. You know, they watched the Warriors play with their death lineup and said, we're going to make that a whole team. Yeah. Which, more power to them.
Yep. It was working. Don't get it wrong. It was working for a little bit. Yeah. And then Westbrook got hurt, and they need him.
They need Westbrook. If you are OKC, the one thing you cannot do, and here is how Houston beats teams. Everybody looks at Houston and goes, oh, they don't have a big man. We can abuse that. No, you cannot. Because you try to throw those entry passes into the paint, they get picked off, and they get fast break points. They win that turnover battle by baiting you into the post. Portland did it with Nurkic. Dallas did it with Porzingis.
Yes, they did.
Milwaukee did it with Giannis. You cannot make that play through your guard, play through the dudes that got you here.
Yep. Don't change anything.
Yeah. Let Steven Adams stay down, get his rebounds, and pass out. That's what he does.
Because he's going to get the rebounds.
Yes, that's what he does.
Yeah.
He's a ferocious rebounder. Do not try to force feed him that ball. Which with some teams, I would question if they would have the capability to not fall into that trap. But I think OKC will be fine because they have Billy Donovan, who's a smart head coach, and they have Chris Paul, who's probably the smartest player in the league, maybe behind LeBron.
Who's a second head coach, if we're being honest.
Yeah, he's maybe second to LeBron as far as smartest players in the league. I don't think they'll fall into that trap. Play through Shea, play through CP, play through Gallinari, play through the dudes that got you here. Mm-hmm. One of the dudes that got him here that they don't have, Dennis Schroeder.
Yes, that's
he
true.
left. Congratulations, he had a child as well. I guess everybody in the NBA pregnant right now. He had a child.
I mean, they had some time off.
Yeah, they did have time off. I can't blame them. Not much else to do. I don't think there's really been a word about when he's coming back, which, obviously, if I were him, I would not rush back. That's my child. I'd make sure everything's good there. But I'm not saying, if Westbrook is out and Schroeder's out, they kind of offset each other. Yes. And I would pick, if Westbrook's out, I could see OKC going in 6 because who other than Harden is beating you on that OKC team? Nobody.
Yeah.
Everybody's from that team, I'm not saying they suck, but they're not going to step up and beat you. So you can get Shea, who's a great defender. You can throw Chris Paul, who's a great defender. Mm-hmm. You can throw them at Harden, double team Harden, really, and make somebody else beat you.
I would go as far as to say I would start guarding Harden like they started guarding Lillard. I'd trap him at half court.
Yeah,
and get the ball out of his hands.
I would do what Van Fleet and the Raptors did against Curry last year. We're pulling out the box and one. Mm-hmm. We are going back to middle school and pulling out the box and one, and that's what we're doing to James Harden.
I'm making anybody else beat me.
Yeah,
which that's the scary thing about it. Even when you do that, he steps back, and whether you believe he travels or not, but he steps back and hits the shot. So
because somebody compared Harden's numbers to Lillard's in the last 5 playoffs, and Harden, he doesn't disappear as much as you would think in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think it's just everything around him falls apart, and he tries to play hero ball.
Yep.
And you think, oh, he'll get Westbrook back, that takes some of the pressure off, and then you think about Westbrook absolutely does disappear in the playoffs. There's no getting out of that one. If OKC wins this series, they will have made it further than Westbrook ever did post KD. And it's just a first round matchup.
Which, can we just... the poor Oklahoma City Thunder had KD, Westbrook, and Harden.
And Ibaka.
And Ibaka. I forgot about him.
And they said we're going to pay Kendrick Perkins.
And never want to ship. No comment.
Hey, I got no comment about Kendrick Perkins.
I have no comment about Kendrick Perkins.
None at all. Go on your ESPN show and say whatever you want to say. I got no comment about it. But,
which I get it. He gets paid to be a troll, but come on, bro.
Houston better hope Westbrook gets back ASAP. Yeah. And if he does, OKC better hope Schroeder comes back ASAP.
I'll say this. The one thing OKC can't do is be down in this series when Westbrook comes back.
Yeah, if Houston can keep it 500 or around 500 until Westbrook gets back, they'll be okay. But, if they can't, they're in trouble.
I can see it going both ways. I'm picking the Thunder at 7.
I'm taking OKC.
That's what I want to see.
And I'm not even a Rockets hater. I made an article that absolutely praised them up and down, but I got OKC in 7.
Yeah.
So now that we've talked about the playoffs, we didn't discover the playoffs. That's for sure. Now it's time to talk about the NBA Bubble Awards, which. Honestly, I'm going to be honest, I don't have a lot to say about the Bubble Awards.
I don't
because I agreed with them. The MVP of the Bubble, which on Twitter they called it the Wilt Disney Award. Rob Perez, I think is his name.
Yeah.
He's a big dude on NBA Twitter, and him and his fans agreed on the Wilt Disney Award, which I love that.
Yeah.
It went to Damian Lillard, which... Deservedly so.
I mean, he's averaging 37, 9, and 4.
Yeah.
What else do you want?
The only, I think he was unanimous, and then Booker was second, and Luka was third, which I absolutely agree with that order because, Lillard, like you said, was averaging 37, 9, and 4. He was doing his thing, got the 8 seed. Mm-hmm. Booker was averaging 30 and 9. and he was 8-0.
I would love to take a look at the Suns one episode.
Oh yeah, I did an article about the Suns.
I would love to sit down because they were a totally different team, man.
Yeah,
in the bubble,
the bench stepped up, and Mikal Bridges. But we'll get there. Speaking of the Suns, coach of the bubble, coach of the seeding games. My apologies.
It's the bubble. I'm sorry.
The bubble, I guess, isn't professional. It's like a SpongeBob episode or something.
The bubble sounds better.
Monty Williams, coach of the Suns, which there was no other choice here.
Yeah.
The Suns were 8-0. They literally did the best they could. There's no.
And it came down to a Karis LeVert jump shot.
Yeah, which, hey, look.
It's like I said at the beginning. I would have took the shot too.
Memphis ruins everything. All right, I get there was a regular season before this. And I'm not everybody saying Portland or Phoenix got screwed. No, they didn't. You should have performed better before the bubble. There was a regular season before the bubble happened, and you have to factor that into. With that said, I will take this chance to hate on Memphis. Memphis ruins everything. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we did not get to see a Phoenix and Portland playing game, which sucks, but
I have no personal problem with Memphis. I've never been, and I've lived in Tennessee my whole life. Well, I grew up watching the Grizzlies, because we get alternating Hawks and Grizzlies games depending on who's playing, which is stupid, but we get both games. I grew up watching the Green Grind Grizzlies. And
and let the Grizzlies be on and the Hawks be on at the same time. Yeah. You can't even league past the Hawks because of regional restrictions. Even though where I live, I've done the math, I live closer to the Atlanta Hawks arena than I do the Memphis Grizzlies arena.
It's like when the Titans played in Atlanta this year. A whole bunch of people went because it's like a 3-hour drive. Yeah. It's closer than Memphis.
But, Monty Williams, coach of the Suns, they have a bright future. Yes. They're going to be destined for good things.
I hope for Devin Booker's sake they do. Because I've been saying get him the hell out of Phoenix for a long time.
Hey, you better watch out for you get fined $50,000 for tampering like Draymond.
Hey,
I don't got it like that.
Dude, they gotta stop. He said, Ernie Johnson. Shout out Ernie Johnson. He said, Draymond, are you tampering? Draymond was like,
maybe.
Maybe. Just say no.
Adam Silver said, word? Hey, what's like, this? $50K.
Dude, shout out that whole crew. They're by far my favorite pregame NFL anything.
First team all bubble was Damian Lillard, Luka Doncic, Devin Booker, James Harden, and TJ Warren. I'll be honest here, when I was filling out my teams before this, I thought they were going to keep traditional format where you had to have 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a big man. Mm-hmm. They just picked the best 5, which, I'm cool with that. Yeah. These were easily the best 5 players of the bubble. Mm-hmm. We've already talked about what Damian and Luka were doing. TJ was looking like Michael Jordan there for a minute. James Harden was doing his thing. Luka averaging a 35-point triple-double. They were best 5 players in the bubble. I have no complaints there.
There's not even close.
Second team, Greek Freak, Giannis, Kawhi Leonard, Michael Porter Jr., Karis LeVert, and Kristaps Porzingis. I don't disagree with Kristaps. If Joel wouldn't have got hurt, I could have slid Joel Embiid in there, and I wouldn't have been upset if they would have put Jokic over Porzingis, but Porzingis was doing his thing. LeVert by default was going to be there because he was the only dude that could shoot a basketball on Brooklyn. Who else was going to score the points for Brooklyn? Dude, somebody had to do it.
We could talk about Brooklyn too. They're going to be a problem next year.
Somebody had to do it. So, I have no complaints with any of those awards.
I don't either. Shout out to all the dudes who balled out in the bubble. Very sad that my guy Devin Booker didn't make it, but he balled out. That whole team balled out, did the best they could. They just fell a little short.
But like Adam Silver did in the opening intro of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Uncle Phil throws dude out of the house. Pack your bags. You're gone. Get out of the bubble. It's playoff time.
Which I'm gonna go off on a little side tangent. We got some time. How do you feel about them possibly letting family members or outstanding friends into the bubble before the playoffs start? Well, they start today, so it wouldn't be before.
Well,
just look, on a personal note, how do you feel about it?
As long as they test everybody and keep the same protocols as they do for the players, I'll be fine. Y'all let some snot-nosed 7-year-old in here and he brings coronavirus to the bubble, or IG Tatiana
Yes.
brings
no Instagram models in the bubble.
Brings coronavirus, or worse, last thing we need is a chlamydia outbreak in the Disney bubble. As long as the guests follow the proper protocols like the players do, and they keep the integrity of the bubble, I'll be fine.
I have no problem with it as long as everybody's tested. They were talking about this on First Take the other day. How do you determine who's been a friend? Like, how does the NBA going to determine if you've been a friend with such and such for how long?
Look, Drake is not allowed. Keep Drake out of that bubble.
Like Toronto, he ain't coming.
Y'all keep Drake out of that bubble. So help me.
I think it's kind of interesting how they're going to determine it, just to see.
They said no social media influencers.
My only thing is, when do they leave? So, the Lakers are obviously going to be there for a minute.
Yeah.
So, if LeBron has his wife come, just for example, does she have to leave at X date, or can she stay until the playoffs
I think they stay until the player they came with leaves. And so,
which makes sense.
I think that's how they're doing it. And for those that don't know, once your team gets eliminated, you're gone.
Yeah.
You leave the bubble.
Memphis is gone.
Yeah, you're out. I think Silver came out and said that the day you finish your last game, you're gone. You don't even stay that night. You go. Yeah. I don't blame him. He's running a business here. Get out, go.
I can't be mad
because I can't imagine how expensive that bubble is to maintain. So I'd cut the cost down. Personally, because I get it, players, they need that. Like Stephen A. has been advocating on First Take. They need that release of sexual tension.
Yeah.
But personally, I wouldn't have opened it. I would have let the players stay.
Yeah.
And I would have let the players stay on the premises that you have to attend games.
Yeah.
Because, dude, imagine you're sitting there, first round,
Dude, that'd be so
Clippers and Mavericks, and you see Damian Lillard in the front row.
I remember that first Clippers and Lakers game on that Thursday night when they started back up. People were in the crowd, and I was like, "Oh, this is hype."
Yeah,
I was like, "Well."
Now you're sitting there first round. You got the whole Memphis Grizzlies and Phoenix Suns squad watching the Blazers.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
But now it is time to switch away from basketball and discuss college football.
Let's get to my bread and butter, man.
The lack thereof. So, just to cover the high notes of it, Big Ten and Pac-12 have come out and said they are postponing their fall 2020 seasons.
Pac-12 said no.
Yeah, Big Ten has only put the pause on football. Pac-12 said no, all sports are out. They said we'll talk on New Year's Day 2021. Yeah. They have pushed their seasons to spring of 2021. Reports say Big 12 is still undecided. You got about a month. You got to figure out what you're going to do. They need
to decide now.
Yeah, you got a month till games are supposed to start.
You're going to catch flack either way. So
Big 12 is undecided, and they say the ACC and the SEC are 110% committed to playing.
Which I have no doubt the SEC is 110%.
Oh, dude. ISIS could attack, and the SEC is still kicking off on CBS at 2:30.
Yeah.
That pregame is still going to hit at 2:05.
Yes, it is.
And I'm watching.
Which, don't get me wrong, I've lived here my whole life. I live for nothing more than to wake up at 8 o'clock on Saturday and watch College Game Day.
Yeah.
I will gladly wake up at 7:55 on a Saturday morning. It's crisp, it's cool, it's autumn, the leaves are falling. I get to watch my boys Reese Davis and Kirk Herbstreit and Desmond Howard and all those dudes. And I live for nothing more than that. With all that said, they're going to try to play. Some of them are. It's not going to be safe. But because here's my problem with these players on Twitter talking about they want to play.
Yeah.
I understand why you want to play. If I'm Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, I want to play because I'm going to be pick 1 and pick 2 probably. Yeah. And I'm going to be a multimillionaire in a year.
Yeah.
I want to play too. I'd risk coronavirus for millions of dollars. With that said, it's not only you're affecting.
Yeah, it's a liability issue.
It's a liability because you can get sick and get somebody else sick who is a poor player at Toledo or something, and who's probably, no offense to Toledo, who's probably not going to the league.
Or the Rutgers.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, Big Ten canceled them.
Which, I understand why the bigger name players want to play, but some of these smaller schools, they're playing because they have scholarships and they love the game. They're not playing to get sick.
Yeah, I get the players on Twitter that say they want to play, and I think it's more than just they want to play.
Yes.
These are the college players unionizing and saying that they want a voice in how they're treated, which is completely fair, and they should.
I have no problem with that.
Coronavirus has just given them opened that door for them to do that. One thing I saw on Twitter, because I follow some Tennessee players on Twitter, and so on Twitter you can see who likes what. I'm not going to say the player's name, but they like to tweet saying that, and this player has been vocal about wanting to play, but also like to tweet that said the same players on Twitter that saying we want to play are going to be the ones suing the NCAA in 10 years due to long-term effects of coronavirus.
Yes.
And that's completely fair. And not fair as in the players are able to do that. It's fair to say that the same ones saying that they want to play will be the ones to do that. Like, that's true.
Trust me. I'm the biggest football nerd out there. I want to see college football played. I'm that dude. I'll stay up till midnight watching Pac-12 after dark and wake up Sunday morning to watch the NFL.
Yeah.
I want to see the NFL play. That's a whole nother story. They're getting paid millions of dollars. They're an organization. I think they're going to play just because they can have people sign paperwork and say, if you get sick, you can't sue, blah, 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 blah. College football, I want to see it played. There is zero way to make this work and have nobody get sick if you don't have a bubble.
And, kind of touching on what you said about the NFL being able to sign, some schools are trying to get players to sign waivers. That's not ethical.
It's not even legal. I wouldn't sign anything.
Yeah, you cannot have college kids sign that.
No.
Here's the biggest issue as far as what's stopping a return to play. Like you said, no bubble. Me and you talked about this, and I had kind of a counter for it of how I say you have these college campuses. And look, I tell everybody, we're talking Power 5 here. If you're on a Power 5, we're not talking about you. All right, y'all can do whatever you want. I'm not talking about you. I'm not worried about you. I'm not watching you. I don't care. That includes you too, Notre Dame. I don't count you as a Power 5 independent.
NBC contract.
Yeah, so these Power 5 schools, if they were to send all the students home, do online courses, keep the football players on campus, and they cannot leave campus, and coaches and staff, they live at campus. Kind of what the NBA is doing in Orlando. Keep them on campus. They're not allowed to leave, and the only reason they leave is to say Tennessee and Alabama are playing, go to Knoxville to Alabama, and then back to Knoxville. That way, and you had mentioned that if you leave the campus, you could get it. While that is true, if you're going from campus A that has 0 cases only to campus B with 0 cases, it can't come out of thin air. The issue with that would require colleges to officially accept that student athletes are different than regular students, which everybody with a brain knows they are.
And
everybody
knows. It would force the colleges to send everybody home, too. Because it only works if the general public isn't there. Like, we know people who are at the University of Tennessee right now. They left this weekend. They're on campus.
And they're already partying.
Yeah.
But
they're on campus.
Drinking, being hooligans.
Which, neither here nor there.
I'm just a hater.
Yeah, I am too, and you're not of age. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know who you are.
But if the general public's on campus, then how are you just going to keep? Because the players can't go to class if you're going to do it. That's my biggest thing with it. If the University of Tennessee said today, regular students online, football players, athletes, softball players, everybody who's an athlete on campus, I have 0 issues with it.
Yeah, and you got to send them home. You got to get them out ASAP.
Yes.
Got to get them out.
Yes. Which they don't care what I think. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They're not going to do it because NCAA tries to live with this myth that student athletes are students first. No,
they're not.
No, they are superstars.
You think Trevor Lawrence went to Clemson for a degree?
Yeah, no.
No offense to Trevor Lawrence. He might get his degree eventually.
Like, say, I'm going to Middle Tennessee State University, but say instead I would decide to go to UTK and do a sports media program. You think I'm going to be held in the same light as, I don't know, let's see, Jared Garantano, who's starting quarterback for the University of Tennessee, or Brian Maurer back at quarterback, or Cooper Mays or Cade Mays. People look at me and go, I don't know who you are, and then they're going to look at Trey Smith and be like, oh my God, that's an NFL superstar right there. Like, they are different, and this would be requiring the NCAA to treat them different.
Yes, it would.
And my biggest issue, and what I've seen people talk about, and I agree with, is, I know some Big Ten fans, and they are, very upset that the Big Ten's canceled the season.
I'm talking about you Ohio State fans.
Yeah, look, not even get started.
I'm not even sugarcoating it. I'm talking about you Ohio State fans who try to trademark the word "the."
Yeah,
that's another tangent. As you could tell, I don't vibe with Ohio State.
Yeah,
but never mind. You
can and one dude, a lot of fans are irrational. Like, I want my football. Like, okay, shut up, grow up. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But there was one dude who took a rational take on it, and his biggest thing is, you sit here and say they can't play football, but you're starting today, because for a lot of colleges, classes started today.
Yes.
You're sending them to class with everybody,
exactly.
So they can go to class on campus with thousands of students.
They're contradicting themselves.
But they can't play. But football's dangerous. How is football any more of a risk than going to class or staying on campus? Themselves.
What's his classic Mark Aaron in the NCAA?
Yeah.
That's all it is. We're going to call it like it is. He's not a leader.
Yeah, because my thing is, other reports came out that the leaders of the Power Five were made to discuss. So if this is an athletic director of a Power Five, or the Power Five leader's choice, why is there an NCAA?
Yep.
If this is a decision that each conference is making, and the NCAA has not doing anything, what is the point of the NCAA?
And everybody was mad at the Big Ten, like, oh, why'd you cancel? I had no problem with them canceling.
Yeah, I get it.
I get it, and you chose, you have a stance, and you backed it up. You don't just flip-flop because...
The biggest thing for me, I feel like if you're a conference that canceled, you should either let your schools join another conference for the season, or let kids that want to play transfer.
Yeah.
Because, I was talking, because I have a friend on Twitter, and she sent me, somebody tweeted that the Big Ten got canceled, and I liked the tweet, and she sent it to me. She asked me if it was real, because she doesn't watch sports. She didn't know, but she she's at risk for coronavirus. She doesn't think the season should be played, and I totally get it.
Yeah.
And so I was explaining to her, like, kind of what the issues were and like what was going on, and we were talking about it, and she was like, well, what about the seniors? Like, what about
that's another huge
and
issue.
Even just not just the seniors, but those juniors that may be ready to go pro, but they need that one more year.
Yep.
Coach Ed Orgeron put it perfectly when they asked him about it. He said, before the start of last season, Joe Burrows was a 6th-round pick. This season happened. He's taken 1st overall.
Yep.
These players need that season. And sure, you have undrafted free agents and you have workouts you can hold, which the NFL did resume tryouts.
Yes.
But, so many kids need that last year to even get the chance to be an undrafted free agent or to get drafted.
Possibly the biggest issue of all is the Big Ten and Pac-12 are canceled for the fall. Spring comes around and they just don't play.
Yeah.
What do you do with the 4th or 5th year seniors with the incoming freshmen?
Yeah.
Because that's an extra 50. I think you get 25 scholarships a year, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the NCAA said anybody that opts out gets eligibility. So you're
telling me we're gonna have all these seniors that opted out, which for these small schools is a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then the incoming freshmen too. Not to mention the freshmen who leave after Christmas and go get on campus early.
Yeah.
What are you? We're gonna have 200 man football squads.
Or
just players?
Yeah, and another issue you're seeing is high schools are canceling seasons, and players are graduating at Christmas and going to campus because they're not having a season.
Yeah.
And, another thing, you have FBS, which is like your powerhouse, and then you have the FCS. Trey Lance, I believe that's his name, a quarterback, North Dakota State.
Yes, which is where Carson Wentz went to school.
Yeah, he is getting a lot of hype, and I believe North Dakota State canceled their season or is in danger of canceling their season. So, a lot of people, because personally, I don't know a lot about him, and a lot of media outlets have had Trevor Lawrence 1, Justin Fields 2, Lance 3. There are a lot that are starting to put Lance above Fields.
Yeah.
So to say this season is important to him would be an understatement.
Like,
so, say the FCS cancels, what's he going to do?
Yeah.
Is he going to be allowed to go to a FBS school? Mm-hmm. And if he can, what school is going to take him?
Because I guarantee you, what people don't understand is, he's North Dakota State. He wasn't good enough. I guarantee you he had Division I. He had a Division I school. I guarantee he had FBS offers.
Yeah.
But they go to North Dakota State because of the Carson Wentz, who did he go second?
Yeah.
He went second overall. And the long history, the long line.
I don't know if he was second overall, but he was the second quarterback.
Yeah, the second quarterback taken.
Golf.
And the long line of history of quarterbacks in North Dakota State, and he knew he was gonna get to play.
Yeah.
Like if you go to Georgia, like Justin Fields did, you might transfer and get to play.
Yeah, look, that's what people can, say what they want. Oh, you went to a FCS school, you're not as good. That's just not true.
It's not true.
That FCS, FBS, D1, D2, it doesn't matter. If you can ball, you can ball, and the NFL knows that.
Yep.
But, he needs this season.
Yes, he does.
And, if his school cancels, what's he going to do?
Yeah.
Is he going to be allowed to go somewhere else? Because, you're messing with every player's future.
Not to mention that people go. Some people, a lot of these bigger school kids go to Alabama. They don't go to Alabama for the program. They go for the football program, not the degree they're in.
Yeah.
Some of these kids go to a certain school because of the program they want to be in.
Yeah.
And they're at the best school for them.
Yeah.
If they have to leave, you're messing up that too.
Yeah. There's players, they need the season because, for example, what's his name? Keyshawn Vaughn, Vanderbilt running back last year. I believe he got second round?
I think so.
By Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he's in Tampa, I'm pretty sure.
I can't remember if it was second or third round. Say he doesn't get that last year, where does he fall? Jawan Jennings, wide receiver, Tennessee. He got taken in the 7th round as it was, and he was a monster. His senior
He was a 76 pick. He was the 3rd round of Tampa Bay. Round.
Jawan Jennings, wide receiver for Tennessee, he went 7th round after having a monster senior year. Say he doesn't get that senior year.
Yeah.
He goes undrafted.
Yeah.
Which, it's a shame he got taken in the 7th. He should have gone earlier than that. But
that dude's a dog.
That's neither here nor there. Let me not get started on that. But, like you said, colleges are going to get flack either way.
Yes, they are.
But they got to make a decision.
Yes,
they got to stick with it.
You're on the clock. The time's been ticking.
And there's no way that they can have students on campus to go to class and also play football.
Yeah,
there's just no way.
It's not going to happen.
But it's that catch-22 because, like I said,
they won't do it.
They won't send them home because they don't want to admit
because
that
they
they're
want
not
them
normal.
to be
students
first. That's so. You make millions, if not billions of dollars off these kids every year, and they don't see a penny.
That's what I think. I saw a report that said LSU could lose $70 to $80 million this year without a season. And that's what I get it. Like everybody, some college students choose to be haters on student athletes and be like, "Oh, why aren't we treated the same?" Mm-hmm. I'm not making the school $80 million. I'm
not.
I'm covering the players that are making the school $80. So maybe indirectly, but people aren't rushing to go buy my articles. They're rushing to buy tickets to see that dude play.
With the Pac-12 and the Big Ten not playing, I was thinking about this the other day. My all-time favorite bowl game is the Rose Bowl. I love the stadium in Pasadena. I think it's beautiful. I love the setting. I like the guy the games play. That's my favorite bowl game by far. The two teams that are supposed to play in the bowl game aren't playing. The two conferences that meet in the bowl game aren't playing. What else is in Pasadena? You realize how much their economy will suffer from not having that game?
Dude.
Because they have the Rose Parade before the game and then the game after, and it's a whole ordeal for the day, and they make millions off of the game.
I think of some of the teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Purdue, Michigan State, Rutgers. They're nothing without college football. Yeah. Think of Murfreesboro, where we're from. MTSU, Conference USA, which is what they play in, has said they're playing, but if they don't play, we're a college town.
Yeah, we are.
Granted, I'd say the past couple of years more MTSU basketball than football, but regardless, we're still a college town.
Yes, we are.
And without those sports, economies are going to suffer, which, I don't get me. I'm not one of those, the economy means more than people's lives. That's not what I'm saying at all.
I'm just stating the facts.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there will be suffering.
I've said this the other day. I could give a damn about your economy.
Yeah.
If people aren't safe, they're not safe.
Yeah. So, that's kind of college football.
And in a nutshell,
I don't know what they're going to do. I understand either way what they do, but, they got to make a decision. They're on the clock. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Austin Jones. That was Xavier. This was the first episode of the Still in Developmental podcast. Thank you for listening, and until next time.